Hello out there. Heavy Montae here. Hello America. Just want to talk a little bit about my favorite subject, a subject that America always tried to avoid, and that is race. America, you know, race has always been at the heart of the destruction of our nation. Just want to talk about a story I saw on the web today. This lady in Minnesota, a white young lady, she was at the playground playing with her baby, a child. And a 5 year old black child took something out of her baby's bag and she tracked the boy down and called him the N word. Someone saw it, someone recorded it. I posted it up on my YouTube channel so you can see it for yourself. And the person asked her, he said, "Why are you calling this 5 year old the N word?" And she said, "Because that's what he is." And she got real nasty with him. Well, anyway, he recorded it. The video went viral. She started a GoFundMe page or whatever you call it. And now they said she's raised $250,000 being a racist. But America, you know, Donald Trump said he was trying to make America great again. But look like he's trying to take us back to the past, an angry past America, where a lot of people died, a lot of people were beaten, and a lot of families destroyed in America over race. People killed one another, wiped out cities, burned down entire black communities right here in America over race. Because the majority, sometimes on the left and sometimes on the right, has used race to control government and to control the people. Use other people as bad people, they say. See, those people are bad over there. That 10% that taking your jobs, they're not like us. When the truth is, all Americans are the same. There is no difference, just the skin color. And also, I want to say something very controversial, and I might get some nasty, nasty things said to me about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Excuse me, my allergies acting up a little bit. I want to say that I have never in my life seen a white human being. Okay, and if you said you have seen a white person, you're a damn liar. See the color of my hat? That's white. You ain't never seen nobody look like that. Now, I have seen some black people. You see what I'm saying? All right. But I have never seen a white person, and you never will see a white person. So the color is not the thing that pushes these people. It's the ideology. I am of a lighter color in my eyesight. So I am better than everybody else. And I have to take everything and color it white. The Bible got to be colored white. Okay. Jesus, blonde hair, blue eyes. You see what I'm saying? You know, you know, the basis of the Bible is God is real, but we're going to change it up any way we want to, they say in the maggot church. You know. So I want to go back to this race thing. So she did that. Okay, please watch the video for yourself. I'm not going to waste any time on that. But this is the same thing that's been going on in America. All right. Especially with the Republican Party. I'll tell you what. I've told you that I was a firefighter. I fought forest fires. I was a commissary officer. And there was a real bad fire, the one in McCall, Idaho. And I had to fly out real fast, boom, get there, set up the camp. And when I got there, a young white lady picked me up in a truck. And she was talking to me, I guess the Forest Service has arranged for her to be my driver and make sure I got some food, whatever, and got up to the camp site. Anyway, she was talking to me. She was very friendly. And she said, white people got to stick together. And I was shocked. that she was talking to me like that. I'm the big boss guy. I can fire people. But she was very, very friendly, and I just listened. And she said, yeah, black people are sticking together, and white people need to stick together. That's the reason why we got to elect George Bush as president, because the black people are really getting ahead of us. And I didn't pay it a whole lot of attention. Then she took me and gave me a sandwich, a ham and cheese sandwich. That's what they gave me. Give me out on fire. You ate that, and you went on the fire, right? But I said that because this woman that said the N word to that child is saying the same thing that that white person said to me, even though she was a nice lady. Don't get me wrong. Now. That was her opinion, and I'm not going to go off on her about that, okay? Because she was a very nice lady. Give me a ride, give me a sandwich. Okay. But I'm saying to you guys, it is the same old strategy that the Republican Party is running on us, playing this race card thing. Won't let it die, you see. Yeah. It's one of the components in the cultural game of America to divide us. You see what I'm saying? Now, during that year that George Bush was president, this happened to me again. I was out with my boss and a bunch of people in a restaurant. We were eating. And we had a guy, he was a maintenance man in the building, you know. His wife was the secretary for my boss. And he was always coming around talking crazy talk and talking about things like, and he said this to me. He said, you should not be a racist, but sometimes you have to be a racist because these black people and other people are getting ahead of us. Back then, during the George Bush administration, you see, because everybody thought that George Bush was real scary too, because he was coming in with some whatever they call conservative back then too, but George Bush wasn't that bad, you know. But anyway, all I can say to you, so in that restaurant, he said to me that, and he just kept on talking and talking to me about some stuff that just getting me angry. So I told him, I said, I'm gonna take you outside and kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? And my boss grabbed him and said, don't you go outside with John because John will hurt you. And I was going to. I was going to choke him out. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because he was saying some nasty stuff to me about race. And I was trying to, stop it. But anyway, there was a lady that worked with me. He approached her, it's a white lady, with some of that racist stuff. And she was married to a black guy. He didn't know that. And she filed a complaint on him. He got in trouble for that. And then the same guy, he did? He walked up to this man and he said, my father was in the garment business in New York City. And you know what happened? They brought those immigrants in there. And, those women with their big fat asses, they don't do nothing. They just sit around. They don't do stuff. And the guy started crying. Who he was talking to, and the guy put a complaint on him. And, he worked with me. And my boss got me to go counsel him. And I asked him, I said, look, man, you need to go apologize to this guy, for what you did. Because he didn't even realize what he was saying to that guy. I don't think so. He was an older man. And he wasn't thinking, but he hurt this man real bad. So he went in and he apologized to the guy. And I recommended that he had to go to race relation counseling for a little while, right? But these are the type of things that, why we're not dealing with this race issue, you know. And I don't understand why we are going back to something that don't exist in America anymore. Everybody's marrying whoever they want. Government is now trying to step in and control that. I was talking to a nice young man today in the supermarket, and we were talking about what's going on with Donald Trump, and a lot of the ships are not coming in now delivering products. So me and the wife, we stocking up. We got everything. So, I went to the supermarket to get my hamburger today. And I divided it into packages, and we're stocking up, just in case we can't get food under this idiot. And I would suggest and recommend that everybody do that. But I was talking to him today, and he didn't even know. He was clueless. He said, I said, the ships are not coming in. I said, me and the wife are preparing. My wife has been watching videos and stuff, seeing what type of food, that keeps good on the shelf, We have everything we need: canning supplies, and water. You need water. They say you got to have some water because if the water grid go down, you'll be in trouble. You like on Gunsmoke, you know, caught in the desert. Remember that old Western Festus? The time he was in the desert without any water. You don't want to be without no water. So you better prepare. That's all I'm saying up there. So anyway, so this racist behavior and this game the Republicans bounce from one cultural issue to another is really damaging to the nation. And I think that we got to get rid of that Republican Party. That's the reason why I always say never ever vote for a Republican because Republicans they just lie to you, look you right in your face, tell you tell you anything. That's hurtful. You've been lied to before. Lies can really hurt and cut. You know, somebody tell you, look, I'm not going to take away your Social Security and your Medicaid or your food stamp, and I'm going to take care of you and make the economy great, and I'm going to make America great again, and I'm going to take away those jobs from those people and give them to you. I'm going to do all this stuff for you, and they don't do it. You know, that's a problem. Now, I was watching Fox News today, and this news reporter, because Fox News, they got game. State-run propaganda media. That's all. That's all they is. That's all they are. And everybody need to watch them. Because if you watch Fox News, then you can figure out that Donald Trump is a no good, low down, dirty dog. Because Fox News be trying to cover up for him and stuff. So the lady was saying to she was interviewing somebody, one of those professionals that they get on Fox News, and she asked him, I don't know who the guy was. She said to him, she said, shouldn't we give the president a grace period? Well, he had 100 days already. You know what I'm saying? A grace period. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, because this is some funny stuff. A grace period to get stuff together. What do you mean? He already tore the country up in 100 days, and another 100, man, we won't have anything. You see what I'm saying? No, we need to stop Donald Trump right now. You see what I'm saying? Now, those senators, they know dang on well. Everybody has said that the financial situation that the tariffs are causing are damaging to the nation. Everybody, on the left and the right. There ain't nobody out there except for Fox News. They're begging for more time. Say, he gonna break it down. He gonna clean it up real fast. But anyway, getting back to the interview. Now the guy said to her, she said he needed more grace time. Then people are gonna start building stuff in America. The guy said, well, we gotta build the factories first. Stuff that's gonna take time. You gotta phase this stuff in. You just can't do what he's doing. The reporter went all crap. Her face got, kind of down, like, damn, Donald Trump can't even save him. Fox News is having a hard time saving Donald Trump now. So, America, now I'm telling you right now, make sure that you start putting away food and essentials that you need, medicine and stuff like that, and get ready. Because, see, Donald Trump and the Republicans assume that they're not going to stop him. I was just talking just a while ago, and I lost my train of thought. The Republican Senate failed to stop him from putting on the tariffs. They could have done it in a simple majority vote. It was 49-49 with two senators missing. So I hope they vote again to stop the tariffs. But the Republicans don't want to take blame for that. You see what I'm saying? But they're saying it's a little too late now in America. Like the old song. It's a little too late to do the right thing now. They're saying that no matter what happens, we're going to have some suffering. Some long-term suffering. Like Donald Trump said, he's reading the Old Testament. He's saying you guys got to suffer. But I'm not suffering, America. You shouldn't suffer either. Liberals got to be smart. We see it coming. you know what they're going to do. They told us. They're going to tear everything up. The supermarkets, the shelves, you're going to go. Toilet tissue are going to be missing again. So you get your toilet paper, get all the supplies that you need, and we'll ride this thing out and just pray that we can cruise to the midterms. Trump's going to do nothing real crazy because those Republicans in the House and the Senate, they're scared. They ain't going to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? They are afraid. You know, they're not going to do a darn thing. And I tell you what, anybody that votes for somebody like that who's a coward, who won't stand up to Donald Trump, an old, shriveling old man, you see what I'm saying? Donald Trump made a fool of himself this weekend in America. You know, he is the national liar. You know, that man lies so much. I don't understand why people believe him. It is crazy. But this would happen to you when you get into a cult. I told you. I told you about my friend. I told him, I said, don't go to that maggot church. But he went. He came out wearing the hat, the shirt, the shoes, the pants, and the socks. Lost my friend. Magnetized, you see. And we are not going to let that happen anymore. If you see somebody out there who's a Republican, I've been talking to them. You know, I've been having success with the Republicans because now I'm telling them the truth. All you got to do is to tell the Republican what is actually happening, you see, because you can follow it up with a video or you can follow it up, you know, with something. You can say, Google it. You know, he can Google it. You can call your friends, you know. You can see the damage that the Republican Party is doing to America today. You can see it with your eyes, you know. Nobody got to tell you. Now the Republican Party, I really don't understand. I said in the last podcast that I was going to think about this, and I did think about it. I don't know why anybody want to do the things that the Republican Party is doing to America. I can't figure this stuff out. But we're going to keep thinking about it. You know, I mean, do they want us all to go to the maggot church? I don't know about that. You know, do they want billionaires to make the decisions for 360 million people of different colors and different races? Do they want, you know, no more gay people, no more transgender people, no more black people, no more white people, no more Irish, Jews? What the hell do they want, America? They want chaos, you see. Chaos, you know, in a country that has all the resources to do better by its people. You know, no excuse, America. It is because we are being led by people who don't know what the hell they are doing. Now, when we return power to the Democratic Party, give them the votes to make the changes that we need, America, because we know what the Republican Party are. They are doomsday, a doomsday propaganda, Russian based, scary, crazy. I don't know what to call them. You see what I'm saying? The press won't do their job. Now, how are you going to analyze a piece of garbage? You know, and the press was coming on telling everybody, and I want the press to knock this crap off. All right, okay, never do it again. Treat the Democratic Party fairly. We're not the Republican Party, and stop comparing us to garbage. You see what I'm saying? You know, because we're not in power. How the hell you gonna say you're gonna take polls about us and we're not in power? We lost. You're damn right your polls gonna be low if you lost. We're trying to figure this garbage out, just like the rest of America. You see what I'm saying? And we make mistakes along the way because we don't have to be perfect, corporate press, huh? Our guy don't have to be Superman when Donald Trump walks around like an old car, backfiring. You see what I'm saying? You know, and when the hell he's, you know, those dang on low down cabinet meetings that he had, you know, and when he comes up to sign an executive order, somebody got to read it to him, you know? What the hell is going on in America? All right, so the midterms is coming, and also I want to talk about the protests. Let's keep the protests going just to make sure they're peaceful, though. Keep them going. Because we want everybody to know, never, ever vote for a Republican. Because Republicans stink. They stink with the smell of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. They stink with the smell of a cowardly Congress in the House and in that dang on Republican Senate. The Republican House has got a bunch of weirdos in there, you know. Their mission is to cause divisiveness among the nation. Have a great day, America, and please do not forget to subscribe to the Heavy Montae YouTube channel.